Hi, I'm Scott DeLong, speaking to you from the traditional territories of the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nation, the Algonquin-speaking people. I am the BCG Community Health Vice President and the Chairperson of the Community Health Bargaining Association. I'm here with the rest of the BCGU bargaining team to give you an overview of the bargaining process.
My name is Paz Masaredo, and I'm a member of the Community Health Bargaining Committee. I'm a community health worker at Fraser Health Authority, and I've been a BCGU member for 24 years. I'm speaking to you today from the traditional territories of the Kaikai people in New Westminster.
And I'm Shelley Anderson. I'm a member of the bargaining committee as well. I'm a community health worker at Fraser Health and have been a BCGU member for 12 years. I'm speaking to you today from the unceded and shared territory of the Kwantlen, Katski, Semiahmoo, and Matsqui First Nations.
The process of the bargaining for new collective agreement starts and ends with union members like you. A collective agreement is a negotiated deal between unionized workers and their employer. The agreement outlines our rights as union members. Agreements last for a specific period of time, generally a few years. Then they are renegotiated. In community health, we are covered by the Community Health Agreement. We negotiate this agreement as part of the Community Bargaining Association, a group made up of all unions with members covered by this agreement. The BCGU plays a leadership role in the Community Bargaining Association because we have the majority of members in the bargaining unit, but all the unions have a voice.
We begin the bargaining process by identifying priorities. The ideas come from people like you, the members, usually through surveys which are sent to the bargaining committee to review. It can be tough to decide which ideas to move forward with. Similar ideas may be combined. Some may be dropped because they're not within the scope of what we can bargain for, or they are not achievable in this round. The ideas selected by the bargaining association become the proposals we'll present to the employer during bargaining. There might be proposals for wages and benefits, working condition improvements, and language changes such as stronger anti-bullying and decolonizing measures, to name just a few.
I'm MJ Cahoon, and I'm a member of 804 as a chairperson, component executive, and PE delegate for your bargaining committee. I am a scheduler for Fraser Health, and I've been with the BCGU member for 32 years. I'm speaking to you today from the unceded, ancestral, and shared territories of the Stolo Nations from Mission, BC.
And I'm Carrie Michaels. I'm an executive vice president, and I'm supporting the Community Health Bargaining Committee. I've been a BCGU member for 10 years, and I'm speaking to you today from the unceded and occupied territories of the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh peoples, also known as Vancouver.
We negotiate with the Health Employers Association of BC, or HEABC. They are a group of representatives, all the various employers covered under the Community Health Agreement. At the same time, we're considering ideas and preparing for our bargaining proposals, so is HEABC. Bargaining begins officially when the two sides exchange their proposals. Some are accepted right away. Others won't be taken up because one of the bargaining committee decides that they are not feasible. Sometimes proposals are modified into something both sides can agree upon.
Our union committee will email you information bulletins at key moments during negotiations. Make sure we have your up-to-date contact information so you can stay informed. Exchanging bargaining proposals continues until one of two things happens. If both sides approve all the proposals, we'll announce that we've concluded a tentative agreement. But sometimes it's not possible to reach agreement. This is called impasse, and it begins a new process for you and your coworkers.
Hi, I'm Masood Amin Zavar, and I'm a member of the Community Health Bargaining Committee. I'm an outreach worker at Lookout Society, and I have been a BCGU member for 16 years. I'm speaking to you today from unceded territory of Squamish, Musqueam, and the Tsleil-Waututh First Nations in the city of Vancouver.
Hi, I'm Darla Homewood. I'm a member of the BCGU Bargaining Committee. I'm a community support worker with Interior Health. I've been a BCGEU member for 10 years. I'm speaking to you from the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory of the Syilx Okanagan Nation.
When impasse happens, you will meet with your bargaining committee to discuss next moves. Some possible choice include an overtime ban, work to rule, or a strike. Strikes are when workers withdraw their labor, or in other words, refuse to continue working until their demands are met or better proposal is brought forward by the employer. We often try other tactics before we go on a strike because we know this is a huge undertaking for members and our collective resources. But sometimes a strike is needed because the employer refused to listen. Before this happened, you need to vote on whether you support going on a strike. The majority of vote in favor of a strike doesn't mean it will definitely occur. In fact, we know from experience that a strong strike vote is needed to motivate the employer to come back to the table and consider our position. Sometimes we use the strike votes to pressure the employer or accept our proposals or work out a reasonable compromise.
The pressure tactic often succeeds. So we hope the employer will meet our needs, but plan to use our power when they don't. If a strike does happen, we want the employer to come back to the table as fast as possible so we can get a tentative agreement and we can return to work. BCGEU members who are on strike are entitled to weekly strike pay and support on the picket line. Sometimes we go into mediation with the employer and a representative from the Labor Relations Board. This is a process where a mediator serves as a go-between to help the two sides reach an agreement.
Hi, my name is Charmaine Fines, and I'm a member of the Component 8 Community Health Services Bargaining Committee. I work with Public Health as Administration Health Unit Aide in Island Health and have been a BCGEU member for 14.5 years. I'm speaking to you today from the Tishat First Nations in Port Alberni. Eventually, we will reach a tentative agreement, whether through bargaining alone or after mediation or taking action. Once the tentative agreement is reached, we share the details with you. We hold ratification meetings to explain the contents of the agreement. Then you get to vote to accept or reject it. You and your coworkers always get to choose. When a majority accepts the tentative agreement, it's said to be ratified. When members reject the agreement, we identify the sticking points. Then we go back to the bargaining table with the employer.
Hi again, my name is Scott DeLong, and I'm an employee of the Island Health Authority, and I've been working with them since 1994 in Victoria, BC. Once a tentative agreement is ratified, it's up to you to enjoy the benefits such as a wage increase or more time off. We also need to let our fellow workers know what their rights are to make sure the employer follows the agreement they agreed to. You can find your agreement on your page of the BCGEU member portal. Bargaining a new collective agreement begins and ends with you, your ideas, and your vote. Our union relies on all of us to participate in making strong collective agreements. We support each other every step of the way. Find out more about your union and the bargaining process by visiting bcgeu.ca.